Welcome to Megapath Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today let's talk Outcast Season 1, Episode 9. Damn. Alright, so listen, there's a few things that happened in this episode. It honestly did not feel as tight and as enjoyable as the previous episode. Like I said, everything about the previous episode I thought was a complete win, from the writing to the pacing to the acting. I mean, everything. Dialogue, the performances. It was, at this point, my all-time favorite episode, and it wasn't even like it was full of action. Just everything, every camera angle. Now, in this episode, it felt like it did slow down a bit, and it focused more on the couple that I felt has a little bit of the weakest moment as far as the storyline, just because we've seen it so much in entertainment. A couple's basically faced with a very serious problem. There's, jail, there's money problems, there's all these different situations. It's just, nowadays in TV, it's something we've seen time and time again, so there's no way around it. I mean, there's almost nothing you can do at this point to make that story be as engaging as it would be if we hadn't seen it a million times before. But with that said, the actor and actress, I know the actor doesn't look anything like his comic book counterpart. Even the actress doesn't look anything, in my opinion, like the comic book counterpart. But they steal it for me. They really own those characters. And I think that's very important because I love the casting here. I love the casting. Mark, I was not sure about in the very beginning, but he won me over. I think the casting for both of these characters was fantastic. And I know the setup from a comic book perspective, it was predictable, but they shocked the shit out of me still, because in the comic book, I'll spoil this now, because you already seen it in the show. In the comic, it's a little different. Megan gets possessed. She pushes him out of a window and puts him in a wheelchair. He's still alive, though. And I know they make it look like he dies in the show, but there's no actual confirmation because we didn't get to that point where in the next, listen, it's like 99.9% that the dude's dead, you know what I mean? And that was vicious. As soon as she headbutted him on the glass, I was like, was he choking on a broken nose, blood, or what? Is he, what's going, this is pretty weak and then the camera panned down and he's got this glass in his neck and he's just, a puddle of blood is forming, and I was like, holy shit. So they did that remix from the comic. They did that quite well. I love that. At first, I was expecting a fight, because in the comic, that is the moment where I fell in love with the comic. When Mark walks into the room in the comic and she's on the bed growling, and she was a character who was really holding everything down. In the show, they show her, in my opinion, a lot more vulnerable than in the comic. In the comic, she's like a brick house. Ain't nothing taking her down. She has issues. She has a past. It's all similar. But she's very strong in the comic, it feels like, And in the show, they show a lot of vulnerability. So, when it came to this moment, in the comic book, it just blew me away. I was like, holy shit, how did she get possessed because of this and that? And then in the show, now we have her butt-ass naked, and I'm like, how are they going to do this fight? How's this? This is interesting. Are we going to have a naked Royal Rumble here? And then, no, it was a simple piece of glass in the throat. It blew me away. It was one hell of an ending. I love that ending. Let's also switch over quickly to The Preacher. I jumped right into that way too soon. I didn't want to just talk about the ending immediately, but screw it. Let's jump over to The Preacher. Again, here we got a preacher who's just starting to piss me off because he's fallen into trap after trap after trap, and I just want to slap him and be like, listen, preacher, you got to know you're being set up right now, But he did have a good comeback where he said, how many times do you get to punch the devil in the face? So that's cool. We got more with Kyle and his daughter, and he's trying to find his wife. Listen, the acting, as far as, it's been a little touch and go for the wife and the chemistry there. I don't know, in my opinion. Others, it might not bother them, but this wasn't too bad. I liked it. I still think there was a little bit of a pointlessness to it. No matter what's happening, the wife is not going to be in the picture. But I really like the setup there that his daughter is now with his sister who's possessed, and he gets that phone call, and I thought it was a tremendous way to end this episode. Except for him running immediately. I know it was for effect that it was a cliffhanger, but it kind of really got to me where he was on the phone like, Amber, and it just felt like, oh, this is a show that's setting this cliffhanger up. I think he should have just immediately turned around and run away, and that could be our cliffhanger. I know visually it might not have been as appealing as just closing on his face. You know what I mean? But I don't know. There was just something there because I'm sitting there in my head like, dude, run. Just run. Anyway, I'm really liking this season. I will be honest, they shocked me here because I once said I have an idea where they're going to end as far as compared to the comic book, and they actually didn't even do as much as I thought they would. I figured we would have got to the Megan stuff probably in like 2 episodes ago. I really did. So they stretched it out a good bit, and now I'm really wondering how much story we're going to get in the comic before season 2 comes back, because this is different than other shows like The Walking Dead where they can remix the story. There's a mystery here, and if you give that mystery up in the comic book, I feel like, man, that might impact the show in a negative way. It might take some of the fun out of it, you know what I mean? I don't know. Give me your thoughts and opinions. What do you think about this episode? What do you think about the comic if you read it? Put those thoughts and opinions in the comment box. I'm done talking. It's your turn.
Subscribe now.